Hi, I'm Dee Debenport, and I'm a Block Watch coordinator on long-term South Side resident. I represent the Connect to Protect Block Watch. I've been on the panel since November 2024, so I'm one of the newer members. I feel very strongly about community policing, and I'm excited about the transformational changes that CPD is making. I'm so excited to see that we're recruiting from different bases. The fact that we're going out to the Bhutanese community, as an example, and having patrol officers who could talk to the Bhutanese community one-on-one, and they have an understanding of it, and they have lived experience. Some of them are from that community, and I was really thrilled to see that. Another thing that I think is just wildly successful and wonderful is the deployment of the dialogue team. The way that we are managing the protests in Columbus, I think, is probably front and foremost in the nation. I understand that some of the officers went to Europe to see how they were doing things in Europe, and then that information was brought back and put into practice by the Columbus Police Department. Another thing that I really want to foot stomp is the police and community immersion training. I think it's just so important for the young recruits or the young graduates to get out and talk to community leaders to find out about their different areas of town. While they may be assigned to one precinct, they may be doing overtime in another precinct or zone, and that information that they learn or heard about in the immersion training, they can take with them and use it at the different location. The last immersion training that I participated in, I was able to give one of the young officers a fellow Block Watch coordinator's name and information so that he could get in touch with her. And that may not have been something that he got through his normal practice and through his normal field training, but he's got that in his back pocket now in case he ever needs it. In 2024, I went to the 13-week police academy, and that experience gave me some insight into the who, what, where, and how of policing in Columbus. And I saw in that academy that we were able to interact with the police, and they answered all the questions that the attendees had. And I really saw in real time that communication between the officers and the public helped mitigate some preconceived notions and misinformation. And I think that's critical. On the other hand, I see that being on this panel is sort of the flip side of the police academy. In this role, I'm able to communicate with the police and tell them what my community expects or desires out of police actions. So it really is sort of a two-way communication avenue, I'd say. When I get to talk and hear from CPD leadership, the whys and what fors, the background of some of the certain decisions that they have made about processes and actions, either policies that they've made or actions police officers have taken, I'm able to go back to my community, to my neighbors, and tell them with confidence why certain things happened or why it's going to be this way. And I think I'm trusted in the community, and I think people believe me when I come back with that kind of feedback for them. The one common thing that most people have, and this is sort of my mantra, is that people really want to feel safe in their neighborhoods and home. I haven't met anybody from the unhoused to, living in poverty to somebody who's living, on the high life. Everybody wants that feeling of safeness. It's my desire that in the future, people who want a safer Columbus will raise their hand and say, I want to be on this panel, because they are invested in it. When we, the people, could have input into what's happening in policing, you're just going to get better results. I think it's so important that the community do engage with the police on a regular basis. And I hear often from patrol officers that the first encounter a lot of people have with them is when it's a bad encounter. And I'm hoping that we can turn that around. And I'm seeing Columbus patrol officers doing that. They're out there, they're attending school events, they're at community events. You pick up anything in our community on the south side and you can pretty much know that you're going to see a patrol officer there. It warms people's hearts, I think, to see that. And several years ago, during COVID and right after COVID, we used patrol officers to drop off turkeys and hams and gift cards to deserving families because either mom didn't have a car or couldn't get out, or, during COVID, she had all the kids at home, so she's doing homeschooling. And so when I proposed this to my commander, he said, "Don't worry about it. We got it covered." And he sent patrol officers, to the homes. And it turned out to be such a great, great situation. And I would hear back from the moms, because I knew a lot of them, and the moms were saying, "Oh, just having that patrol officer come and being able to get a picture of little Johnny and Jane in the cruiser with the officer, that was the highlight of their week." And it wasn't the food or the gift card. It was that moment spent with the patrol officer. And, that's priceless. It's just is.